Welcome to the Fantasy Football Bandwagon. And now your hosts, Nolan and Brayden.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Bandwagon Podcast. I am your host, Nolan. This is also not Nolan. This is Brayden.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. This is our Week 2 waiver wire injury recap breakdown.
So how did week 2 go, Nolan?
Everyone died.
Pretty much, dude.
Okay, so everyone got hurt this week. If you don't watch football and didn't know that, and you just like play fantasy and for whatever reason just like listen to this podcast, then you probably lost some people on your team this week. I promise.
Yeah, there's almost no chance that you didn't lose anybody.
I have surprisingly, knock on wood, escaped fairly okay this week, but a lot of players went down. We'll talk about some of those guys here in un segundo. Did I say that right? My wife's a Spanish teacher, and I don't know if I said that right. Go follow us on social medias at FFBandwagon on Twitter and Instagram, and also on Facebook at our Facebook page, the Fantasy Football Bandwagon. I think we have podcast in that name. I'm not really sure.
You should do that.
Yeah,
that's like the most important thing out of this episode. If you take one thing, you should do that.
And all the injuries. Let's jump right into it. We got a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much the top 2 overall players in fantasy football this year, Brayden, got hurt. And one of them got hurt bad.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Giants running back, tore his ACL.
Done for the year, man.
Done for the year. And as I've been a Cowboys fan most of my life, and as somebody who's hated the Giants, it was still really like I felt bad to see Barkley go down
because it's Saquon.
Well, it's not good for the NFL. You know, we're fans of the NFL. We like the good players. You know, Saquon's fun to watch.
He is.
And it made me feel bad. The guy looked like he was in pain. Went down with an ACL injury and is out for the year.
It's not. I mean, that coupled with all the other injuries we're gonna go over, it just wasn't like. It was a bad feeling week 2.
It's unfortunate for the NFL, the state of the NFL. I mean, we're still watching. It's still going to be good. Players are going to break out, but
you still got to win your fantasy leagues.
Yeah, but the great players, a couple of the great players going down like that really hurt. So he's out for the year. If you spend a second round pick on Saquon Barkley, you probably got -1 point out of him the whole season.
Second overall pick.
Yeah.
You said second round.
Second overall pick. Well, he got you 0 points this year pretty much.
Yeah.
Didn't have a very good week 1 and wasn't on a great track week 2. Who's the pickup here, Brayden? Who are you picking up for Saquon Barkley? You're obviously not going to get the production that Saquon Barkley gives you, so it really kind of hurt you.
See, the problem is he didn't give you production this year.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh.
Saved it. But I think the pickup here, the guy who came in for him when he went down is Dion Lewis. But he's not like a bell cow, like workhorse back. He's a pass catcher. He's a guy who lives on dump-offs, honestly.
I think they upgraded Wayne Gallman from the practice squad.
Well, he was inactive for this last week. But yeah, he's probably the guy going forward that's more going to play the role of Saquon.
Unless they sign Devontae Freeman.
Yes, that's one thing to note. Free agent running back Devonta Freeman, formerly of the Falcons, former league rushing title leader, he's been traveling all offseason, signing for teams. He's got multiple offers, but he wants a better deal. He wants the money.
He's going to visit.
He visited the Eagles.
He's going to visit the Giants tomorrow, which is today. By the time you're listening to this,
yes. So that's
you might know something.
And I think if. Honestly, out of all the backup handcuffs here, I think Devonta Freeman, if he goes to the Giants, is probably the most notable one for me. He's a guy who's proven he can do it before. He's not Wayne Gallman, just a backup that's probably not going to be anything but a backup. He's somebody who's proven before. He's explosive. He's He's been a star in the league.
Yeah.
He hasn't really.
I don't
necessarily-
think he's going to be the Devontae Freeman of old though.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe
don't
not
don't
necessarily
expect that. You're looking for somebody that can fill in, you know, on in a flex or something like that. It's not going to be you're probably not going to get a whole lot of
You're not going to get Saquon production out of
RB2
Devontae.
production.
Yeah.
Either. I mean, I think it's going to be more RB3.
And we're going to go through these injuries for you guys, kind of go through everybody, but also give you – this is a waiver column too. This is why we do it on this day, so you can go pick out waivers. Waivers usually run Wednesday mornings, so we want you guys to listen to this on Tuesday and be like, all right, these are the guys I need to go try to pick up. Because waivers, especially – this is why waivers are so important for fantasy football, is because when a week like this happens and all your guys go down – you have to fill those spots on your team.
We should have started with that statement.
Yeah, we should have, but we'll use that as an example. But this is why waivers are so important, because you can get guys. Some of these guys that we're telling you about waivers are going to break out and be stars this year. It happens every single year. If the top 32 running backs were the same top 32 running backs every year, it would kind of be boring in fantasy football, because it would be the same top 5 guys every year.
We would pretty much know.
Yeah.
But to go back and answer your question, if I'm not really picking up any of these guys on the Giants, except for Devontae Freeman, if he signs, is the only one that interests me. So,
exactly.
If Wayne Gallman gets, I'm just not excited. Saquon couldn't do anything behind this O-line. If Saquon can't, these guys don't even have a chance.
Yeah, that's another point. Is the Giants don't look too hot. So I'm with you. I'm not very excited. Devonta Freeman, I'm a little excited about, and right now he's a free agent. He's not technically on a team yet. It could fall through, and he could not end up going to the Giants.
Yep.
I think he's going to sign somewhere. There's been some key running back injuries to look out for. But yeah, this is gonna be a long injury list, so bear with us. The team that the Giants play next week happens to be the San Francisco 49ers. And at this point next week, the 49ers starting roster may look worse than the Giants starting roster.
But they'll probably still win.
Yeah, you never know.
They beat the Jets by like 20 points with the backup roster.
The Niners lost Jimmy Garoppolo, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, and George Kittle. All those guys either went down or didn't play this last week.
And that's just the offensive.
Yeah, that's just their offensive starters.
That's not counting defense.
Nick Bosa actually tore his ACL, I believe, and is out for the season.
Richard Sherman was out.
So I'm going to say it, but I don't think the Niners are going back to the Super Bowl this year, Brayden.
Probably
I don't think they're contenders this year. I just don't. They've had too many injuries. It's Arizona season, baby.
Yeah. Is there any notable pickups just from what you read off there?
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo went down with an ankle. He's probably out this week. He had a high ankle sprain. Nick Mullins is going to be their starter. You're not starting Nick Mullins. I guarantee.
Remember the Nick Mullins hype from last year?
Yeah, I do, but that was like 3 games.
He went off, man.
That did. I remember he got verified during the game. He was playing the game and got verified on Twitter while he was in the middle of a game.
It was crazy.
But no, there's probably better starting options at quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is still available in a lot of leagues for whatever reason. Ben Roethlisberger's a guy that's still there. Gardner Minshew. I think all those guys, you need to go pick them up anyways if you need quarterback help, not even just regarding Jimmy Garoppolo's injury.
Yeah, all those guys that Nolan just listed, I'm pretty sure they're in the top 12 QBs through week 2.
I do believe so. Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman. This game, Raheem Mostert broke like an 80-yard touchdown run. It was ridiculous. Dude's super fast and is somehow producing every week still. He has an MCL sprain. He could sit out multiple weeks. I've heard a little bit better news on him, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, not for the short term anyway.
And for this heavy rushing team, Tevin Coleman also went down with a knee injury and could also be out multiple weeks. I'm honestly not sure that this team wins next week. They'd have nobody to throw the ball to, and their top running back next week is going to be Jerick McKinnon, which
he looked good.
Yeah, he looked good last week. You know, he hasn't played in 2 years really. Went down with a couple knee injuries, and he's essentially going to be their lead back. And I feel like they're going to lean heavily on the run this upcoming week because
they're playing. The thing is, they're playing on the same turf.
Yeah, the same field, and they kind of had issues with the turf.
So
which is
I believe there's an investigation going on about like the grade of turf that's there. So we'll see what happens with that. But I know, there was some definite concerns from the 49ers side about that.
so if you need running back help, 100% go pick up Jerick McKinnon.
Yes.
Because he is going to get all the work this game. But also Jeff Wilson, their other running back there, whoever their running backs are, they don't just use one guy. They rotate him out.
And,
so Jeff Wilson will most likely get a little bit of work this week.
And anybody in the Shanahan system?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be run-heavy offense for them next week against the Giants. So,
yep.
I definitely, if you need running back help, at least for this next coming week, Jerick McKinnon and maybe some Jeff Wilson are going to help you out a little bit. Talking about the turf at the field, George Kittle did not play, so he didn't get re-hurt during the game. But they could monitor his progress next week or monitor the conditions on the field to determine if they want to play him. He went down with a knee injury last week, kind of hyperextended his knee. And I think if the field's bad or it doesn't improve, I think they'll play him a little bit and then they'll be like, all right, you're done.
I am a Kittle owner, and my thought on this is I kind of want him to sit. I honestly, I don't want him to play. Like, I would rather lose week 3 and have Kittle the rest of the year than him to go out there and try to play and then blow his knee out because the turf sucks.
Exactly. And they didn't necessarily need George Kittle the other day. They actually had Jordan Reed, who was one of my kind of breakout players this week. He actually had a solid game. He led the team in targets and catches, which isn't hard to do when they have no wide receivers.
And see, I think that's key too, is that
they have somebody to
they
fill
have
his role.
somebody, so like they don't feel like they need to play George Kittle to win this football
and
game.
Jordan Reed actually scored twice, so that's something to watch. If Kittle doesn't end up playing, and even if he does play, honestly, he's probably not going to be 100% and play all the tight end snaps like he usually does. Jordan Reed's somebody to watch, as somebody that,
for sure,
hey, we need you to go run 50 yards down the field. George, we're not going to make him do that. So Jordan Reed could be – if Jordan Reed's still out there, especially for this week, if you need a tight end and you're hurting at tight end and you got some of the low-end guys, Jordan Reed's a solid pickup.
Agreed.
Okay, another game that lost a couple studs. They're not studs.
They're hopefuls.
Notable players on their team.
Stud hopefuls.
The Broncos starting quarterback Drew Lock went down with a rotator cuff strain. I read that and it just jumbled up in my head like I had
rotator cuff strain.
Rotator cuff strain. I don't know. Drew Lock went down
out a minimum 2 weeks.
A minimum of 2 weeks. They were saying their bye week is week 8. They hope he comes back by week 8, but I don't think they try to force him back in early. You obviously don't want that in your.
You remember Jeff Driscoll?
Yeah, Jeff Driscoll
from the Lions last year.
Yeah,
he is currently the starting quarterback.
He had a solid game. He
actually didn't play bad. He actually did not play bad.
It wasn't bad. They didn't lose too bad. They did end up losing to the Steelers, but I think Drew Lock does hurt the Broncos pass catchers. He's the guy they've been running with all offseason, getting in rhythm with. And Cortland Sutton, their number one wideout. The guy kind of made fun of people for drafting early. I wasn't wrong, but he went down.
But you can't claim a victory.
You're right. But he also went down with a knee injury. Is done for the year. Another big name, notable player.
It sucks. It sucks, man. Like, as much as we didn't like him, he's talented, and you would never wish, you don't wish bad things. You don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah, exactly. But Sutton's down. Jerry Jeudy and I think Noah Fant are the two guys on the team. They're hurt a little bit by Drew Lock, but also
I think Fant benefits the most from Cortland Sutton being out.
Yeah. Well, I think Jerry Jeudy does also. I just think they both kind of get brought down a little bit by Drew Lock out, but then Cortland Sutton kind of bumps them up a little bit. Yeah, being out. So Driscoll looked solid the other day. He looked fine.
Just Fant had another good game. So
another deep guy to look at is KJ Hamler, who had a decent game the other day. But me and Brayden were never big on the Broncos pass catchers this much.
It's just the offense. The offense. It just looked like it wasn't gonna be a high flying offense.
Yeah, it's not a high flying, big scoring offense. Yeah, the Broncos had some guys go down. Dave Montgomery ended up going down with a neck injury at some point during the game. He came back and continued to play.
He actually had a good game.
I was going to say, I'm not initially worried about Dave Montgomery. He actually led the team in rushing and receiving.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
The Bears are
– Did you know they just
are a weird team.
They just paid Tariq Cohen. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They literally extended him on Saturday and then proceeded to not use him.
They didn't use him much week 1 either.
I think they paid him like $9 million.
Yeah. You might lose your bet.
Dude, how baffling is that?
You might lose your bet that we made earlier about Dave Montgomery outscoring Tariq Cohen.
I'm probably gonna lose it, but
it's not looking good right now.
It's because Dave
Montgomery's been hurt since before week 1, and you're still not gonna win.
It's because they're not using. They're even when David Montgomery's out, they're not using Tariq
it's
Cohen.
very baffling. He's proven that he can be an
electric.
an electric guy with the ball in his hand. You get him in space.
Dude, I just don't understand.
It's baffling to me as well. Yeah, I actually kind of wish they would use Cohen more. I don't have many shares of Cohen this year.
I think it would help open things up for Montgomery too.
Yeah,
as a change of pace back.
Exactly.
So,
but Montgomery's been solid so far. He's been okay. I think he's going to progressively get better. I'm not initially worried about his neck injury. It's something to watch, but I don't think they hold him out. And he came back in the game. You're not sitting him for any reason. You're probably.
I think he'll play.
Yeah, you're probably starting him just about every week until something else happens. Tell me about Devontae Adams.
Another
Be scared. Devontae Adams got hurt.
Name.
Just kidding.
All right, so he went out with a hamstring injury. It's just one of those things to monitor. The team says it's not that serious. They're not initially too concerned with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you should still monitor it. And MVS and Lazard, they should both be owned no matter what.
Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Alan Lazard, the 2A and 2B on the team here. Both guys are putting up numbers. MVS, I think, had the better game the other day. But this offense, I don't really know what they want to do. Last year, they were all about the run game, and this year they're
all about the Aaron Jones game now.
Well, they're kind of mixing it up. Aaron Jones had a huge game the other day.
Jeez,
it's kind of ridiculous. Brayden was right on him. They're going to use him and make him a stud again.
Yeah. Hey, I'm taking full credit. All right, all you Aaron Jones haters.
We can't do this early in the season, Brayden. We're not even to a quarter of the way there yet.
You're right. I got to take my victory laps when I get it.
Take victory laps that early. But Devontae Adams, something to watch. There's a couple guys here that we're going to mention that didn't really go out of the game, but it's probably going to bug them for a little bit. Cam Akers, Los Angeles Rams running back, went down with a rib injury. What you got on Cam Akers?
It's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
It's
Sorry
unfortunate.
to hear that, man.
And the other thing that is unfortunate is that who you thought was a starting running back was not actually the starting running back.
Malcolm Brown actually went down with a finger injury. I think he hurt his pinky or broke it at some point during the game, and then Henderson got hot during the game
and played good.
And played good. So Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson.
This is a mess, man.
Yeah, well, Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson at this point should both be owned. Malcolm Brown is, I think, still the starter going forward. It just so happened he injured his hand, I think one of his fingers in the game, and Henderson came in and started getting hot, so they just kept rolling with him. Cam Akers may be out a few weeks. We don't really know. If I'm the Rams, if I have Brown going off and Henderson going off, I'm probably keeping Akers out because I don't necessarily need him.
He's a rookie. So, you're probably looking at him more like the future of the franchise.
Exactly. So
type thing.
I would expect them to not rush Akers back in because they don't necessarily need him at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
But Darrell Brown and no, it's Malcolm Brown.
Darrell Brown
and Darrell Henderson should definitely be owned, especially if you need running back help. I'd rather play Brown over Henderson. But it could turn into a situation like the other day where Henderson outplays Brown.
It's going to be hard to trust either one of them on a consistent weekly basis, just because McVay's going to go with the hot hand. Yeah. I mean, no matter what, whether Brown gets hurt or not, if he's playing bad and Henderson's playing good, Henderson's going to get the bulk of the carries and Brown's going to get you 3 points. Mm-hmm. So I mean, just keep that in mind when you play one of these guys. It may not be all sunshine, roses,
and rainbows.
Another guy that I was pretty high on.
Yeah, this is a pretty sad one. A promising young-looking player who was actually, I believe, leading the team in. Okay, not leading in targets. Yeah, he was.
I think he was, right?
What's his name?
Yeah,
Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell. Tell me about him.
Paris Campbell out indefinitely with a PCL injury. It's one of those other ligaments in your leg that's not an ACL. In case you didn't know, Nolan.
In case I didn't know.
Yep.
Okay.
It sucks. It sucks because he's made the appropriate steps as a second year guy to be the league. He was really, like you said, he led the team in.
Well, I think he's second in targets behind Ty, but still, he was starting to look promising.
He was looking good. He was. I noticed that Phillip Rivers, anytime he needed an outlet, he trusted Paris Campbell with it. So it's always sad to see an emerging player go down indefinitely. We don't really know how long it's going to be, but
they haven't said he's out for the year. So it's somebody that if you have him and you have an IR spot, which most leagues should this year have some sort of IR spot on their team, I'm stashing him on my IR spot.
For
if
sure.
I need wide receiver help down the line and he comes back and he's good to go, somebody to watch for.
I think you put him on, even if your league doesn't have IR spots, I think you probably put him on your bench if you can. Like if you can afford to put him on your bench, I think you wait to see how long he's out.
Yeah. I think the two guys to look for here with all his targets going out are T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
T.Y. was already leading the team in targets, but I think it just gets a bump up and they lean on him a little bit more. And Michael Pittman is somebody to look for. Another, I think he's a rookie this year.
Yep.
Is somebody to look for as to get some extra targets. It's worth mentioning here, Brayden. I feel like we have to mention, the number one waiver pickup for everybody last week was Nyheim Hines. He did nothing.
Didn't work
I think
out.
he touched the ball one time.
Did not work out.
That's how it's like this every year. Every year, if this is your first time playing fantasy football, every year there's a week one. There's somebody who just blows up, okay, has the game of their lives, and then everybody runs to pick them up, and then they never do anything else again. That's probably Nyheim Hines this year because rookie running back Jonathan Taylor showed up and showed out, and it's his job going forward. So if you had Nyheim Hines, don't drop him yet. You're not dropping him, but you're not starting him until he shows some more consistency in the game. I had to put that out there. Nyheim Hines, it happens every year. Some waiver stud does nothing the next week. It's great.
One of the sad ones, we already mentioned him.
This one's not quite as bad as Saquon Barkley's injury, but it's as significant for at least half the season.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey. I almost said Christian Michael Montgomery. I don't know why I said that.
What?
I don't know. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, Panthers running back.
Christian Michael Montgomery.
The number one overall fantasy player this year. Hurt his ankle.
There's not even two M's. It's CMC.
Yeah, I know.
CMM.
I don't know. We're past that. I don't know what happened there. Okay, I had a brain fart. I wasn't gonna say it out loud, and then I did anyways, and just made it worse.
All right.
Had an ankle injury. He's out at least 4 to 6 weeks, most likely. This is a huge blow, also. And not as bad as Saquon. He's not out for the year. You're definitely keeping Saquon or CMC. You're definitely keeping CMC on your team. Do not drop him. Put him. I don't even know if he's going on IR. But
yeah, please don't drop him. Do not. Whatever you do.
If he is dropped, go pick him up, please. This is Mike Davis is your replacement here. He's a guy they really like. They liked him in camp. He actually caught 8 passes for 74 yards the other day.
If you didn't bring it up, I was going to mention it. He caught 8 passes.
Yeah, after McCaffrey went down, Mike Davis came in, caught 8 passes for 74 yards. He's probably the number one waiver wire pickup this week.
I would 100% agree. He is the number one pickup.
Yes. I expect the Panthers to throw the ball more this next coming week. I think they'll try to get him
to Mike Davis.
Yes. Well, they'll try to get him to run, but I think they're going to end up having to pass and kind of rely on the pass a little more.
He played half the game?
About half the game, I think.
He played half the game and caught 8 passes.
Yeah. That's
insane.
Pretty significant. So handcuffs to major running backs like this, you obviously draft them for the opportunity. but that is in no way saying that he is going to have any of the same production that Christian McCaffrey has. Consistent production.
I think he's probably the reason we have him as the number one pickup is because he's the most likely out of all the pickups to produce. Like
He has the most opportunity out of everybody that went down with.
yeah, he's the most likely to produce.
Yes. With the most definite role.
Yep.
You know, talking about Saquon going down, Saquon had 90% of the carries there essentially. But the guy coming in to replace that is not going to get 90% of the carries there because they don't have the they haven't shown production like that. Not that Mike Davis has, but he has the most opportunity. So Mike Davis, put in your waiver wire for him, especially if you need running back help. He's gonna produce for at least 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep.
And then
He'll help
when
carry
Christian
you
McCaffrey
through.
comes back, you can probably drop him.
Drop Christian McCaffrey.
Don't drop Christian McCaffrey. Do not do it. Brashard Perriman, Jets wide receiver, went down with the ankle. Is week to week.
Not really much big news here.
I don't care. I'm not starting anybody on the Jets.
It's the Gase hole.
Yeah. The Gase hole. That sounded dirty when you said it. And
Dude.
I had to think about what you actually said.
It's the Gase hole,
Yeah.
man.
So sorry, Brashard Perriman, but I don't care about the Jets because they are garbage, hot garbage. Tyrod Taylor, quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers.
They've been there for almost
I've
over
been
a
calling them
year.
San Diego this whole time. He was a surprise out. He was a surprise sit. He actually ended up having chest pains before the game started in pregame warmups. And from what I've read, it was actually he was dealing with a rib injury, and he got some injections for that rib injury, and that's when he started feeling pain. You hear chest pain, you think like heart or something like that. I don't believe it was something like that. It was a rib injury that he was having issues with. So this was this happened right before game. If you started Tyrod, I'm sorry, you probably got a big fat zero, or you did get a big fat zero there if he somehow stayed in your lineup.
You shouldn't have been starting Tyrod.
You should, yeah, definitely not. Justin Herbert, actually, I just want to mention it here. It's worth mentioning. It's fantasy news, fantasy relevance. Justin Herbert ended up starting the game. It was a surprise to him as it was to everybody else. He looked better than Tyrod Taylor would have today. Would have the other day. I promise you.
I 100% agree. I think Herbert should be the starter going forward. I think your outlook for the rest of the team, fantasy wise, and
yes.
actual NFL wise, your outlook is way greener, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned I was all over it last week that I don't want to start any Chargers as long as Tyrod Taylor's a starting quarterback. I just don't think he doesn't elevate the team around him. He holds it down with mediocre decisions. And I'm not a Tyrod Taylor fan.
And I don't really know what outlook being greener is. But
yeah, I don't know. But
it's better.
You're out positive, right?
Maybe it's positivity.
But Justin Herbert looked solid for a rookie. I think he was actually the first rookie to run and pass for a touchdown in the first half of their debut game.
It was awfully specific.
Yeah, it's cool like that. I like stats. Unfortunately, Coach Anthony Lynn said with certainty that if Tyrod Taylor is 100% ready to go, he will be our starter going forward.
I'm really hoping this is coach speak. And he knows Tyrod's not going to play next week.
Yeah, so part of me thinks that he's going to not be 100% for the rest of the season. So,
yeah,
that being said, Justin Herbert, it's worth monitoring. You know, we need updates on Tyrod. If Anthony Lynn says he's 100% to go, then he's probably starting him. For whatever reason, Anthony Lynn is a huge Tyrod fan.
I have
no
idea why.
The whole rest of the NFL verse, everybody who watches football obviously agreed that Justin Herbert was better for the Chargers.
If you watch, he's a rookie. His first game comes in against the big bad Chiefs, and Pat Mahomes almost beats them.
They tied and went to overtime.
How are you not like, you know what? It's probably in the best interest of our team if the rookie quarterback continues to start. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not a Tyrod Taylor fan. If Herbert if you need quarterback help or you're in like a dynasty league or something like that, Justin Herbert's definitely a pickup at this point, especially in dynasty, which he was probably most likely drafted. So whatever. Yeah, going forward, it's something to watch. He had a really good game. He ran for a touchdown. He wasn't afraid to run the ball the other day, Herbert. He was getting in there and diving for extra yards.
I'm still as Nolan's note here says, Herbert.
Hurt. Yeah, without the B. But and he made he definitely got the ball to Keenan Allen. He made the rest of the Chargers play better, I guess.
He did. He brought everybody's level up.
Yes. Dawson Knox, tight end for the Buffalo Bills, is entered concussion protocol.
I am concussed.
You should have some other tight end options here, so this shouldn't really hurt your team. If you were starting Dawson Knox, what are you doing?
I don't think he played that bad week 1.
I mean, but if you started Dawson Knox over somebody like Sticky Gecko or Jonnu Smith, I mean, I'm sorry. Tight end is rough, but I'm still probably not starting Dawson Knox. They run through their wide receivers, and I don't think they run through their tight end. So it's something to watch, but it doesn't concern me too much. Devontae Parker. This is Brayden's boy. This is all you, Brayden. It's your boy. You like all them guys on those crappy teams. Devontae Parker.
Yeah, he had a hamstring injury, and
he played during the game. He
played. Yeah, he played. I think he came out for a bit, and then I think he went back in.
Yeah, I believe so.
But he didn't expect to miss any time. That's just something to monitor. I know they have a Thursday game this week, so just monitor it. And obviously, if he's out, you need to be paying attention and take him out of your lineup.
He ended up scoring a touchdown, but I'm not. It's been in and out since week 1 for him. I'm a little concerned at this point.
I'm concerned that he's gonna play.
You're concerned that he's going to play?
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to start him?
I think even if he does play, it's so hard, dude, because they're playing the Jaguars. So, like, if he plays...
We'll go through some other options. Maybe you can pick up off the waiver wire that you can play over Devontae Parker. Okay, well, let's get to it now. Russell Gage or Devontae Parker?
I'm probably playing Russell Gage.
Okay. Stuff like that. We'll get to it. Sterling Shepard, Giants wide receiver.
Which I never thought I'd say in my life.
Went down with turf toe. Will be out multiple weeks. I mean, I understand
it's
when
a
your
hit.
toes hurt, but like...
It's a hit for Daniel Jones.
The Giants are going to be bad. The Giants and the Jets are going to be
turf
bad
toe,
this year.
I'm pretty sure turf toe is what kept A.J. Green out for like a year.
Yeah.
I heard it hurts really bad.
Well, the only... apparently it hurts really bad. I believe the Giants and Jets are going to be bad this year. My Jets are the Jets are my pick for the worst team in the league this year. I think they end up with the number 1 pick.
If you drafted Slayton, he's fixing to get
Darius Slayton,
like all the targets.
This Sterling Shepard going out should bump Darius Slayton and Evan Ingram a little bit.
We keep saying that. We keep saying it's going to bump Evan Ingram.
No, I don't keep saying Evan Ingram. You keep saying Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's been the hype man for 4 years, and he's never done
this
anything.
Man just like
can't stay healthy.
Disappears, bro.
Yeah, it's weird.
He's literally Houdini.
Well, with Sterling Shepard and Barkley out, it's Darius Slayton time. Like he's their offensive playmaker. Evan Ingram is supposed to be their playmaker, but he doesn't do anything. So if Darius Slayton, now's the time to trade for Darius Slayton. If you're trying to make trades,
I was actually going to mention that.
Yeah. Sammy Watkins, Brayden's other boy.
Whatever, dude.
All Brayden's boys got hurt. I think he got hit, went down with the concussion, went out.
He caught one pass in the fourth quarter and then got concussed.
So I mentioned Nyheim Hines, the week 1 warrior this year. Last year it was Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins was the week 1 warrior last year.
He was also the week 1 warrior this year.
The biggest week 1 ever last year, and then didn't touch the ball like the rest of the season. It was crazy. Mecole Hardman should see an uptick. Sammy Watkins isn't necessarily out. It's a concussion. He's either going to get better and play next week, or he's going to miss that
If he's
week.
not out of the concussion protocol by Friday, he's probably not playing.
Yes. Mecole Hardman, the guy, one of my boys I've been mentioning, hasn't done much so far this year. It's early in the season. I still have him on all my teams that I've drafted him on. He could see an uptick in work. If you've seen him play, He's a Tyreek Hill light, not even really that much light. He's just a big play waiting to happen. You're probably not going to get a lot of targets or volume out of him, but
And I think
he can save you with a touchdown.
I think another player to watch is Robinson.
Demarcus Robinson.
So just keep an eye on him. He could see an uptick in targets as well. They do like to use him. So
another guy that I don't care about. I'm just gonna be blunt. Don't care. Chris Hogan went down with a rib injury. He plays for the Jets.
hey, I just want everybody to know on this thing, Nolan's his note on all the Jets players that went down is still not starting anyone on the Jets.
Yeah,
Like every single player, it's still not starting Jets.
The best player
Still
on
not starting
the
Jets.
best player on the Jets at this point is old man Frank Gore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's bad.
I would argue
the
Chris
Jets-
Herndon, but he's not.
He had one catch.
He's not being
Brady.
used, dude. Yeah, it's the Gase hole.
Yeah, the Gase hole. At this point, Chris Herndon, honestly, if you have Jets, anybody but actually Frank Gore.
Don't play. You need to drop
No,
everybody.
yeah, everybody but Frank Gore. Frank Gore is actually a slightly usable running back because Adam Gase doesn't hate him. Everybody else on my Jets,
Actually.
I'm dropping everybody else on my Jets. If I have players with more that can produce more than that, then I'm dropping all my Jets. They're going to be garbage. I'm sorry, they just are. Two guys that are kind of in the same weird boat.
Nolan's real happy with Julio. Let me tell you, he's like
Julio Jones, man.
Julio Jones is Nolan's favorite person right now.
No, I don't hate Julio. It's just it happens. The dude's Julio. He doesn't score touchdowns.
He doesn't catch passes.
He was
apparently,
dealing with a
either.
hamstring injury. He played through it. Wasn't very productive. I believe he caught 2 passes for like 24 yards, and dropped an open touchdown. He was open by 2 steps, and literally hit him in the hands, and he dropped it. And it would have got more points for Russell Gage, but that's whatever. Julio Jones is fine. He's fine. It was a weird week. The Falcons were up
Don't overreact.
20-0 and ended up losing 39-40. It's very strange.
Yeah, don't overreact.
Don't overreact
to this news.
Julio's going to be fine going forward as long as I don't think his hamstring's going to bug him much. He'll go ice it and get a rub down. It'll be fine. Will Fuller, though, Texans starting wide receiver, who I claimed was definitely the bell cow last week, had 0 targets
I told you.
against the Ravens. Well, I don't think either one of us can say much yet because Cooks didn't do anything last week and Fuller didn't do
I'm
anything
just
this
saying.
week, but-
I'm just saying. I told you about him being the for sure number 1 target.
Well, see, I do still think he is. They played the Ravens. It was a tough defense. I think they just shut him down. And Deshaun Watson was under duress all night or all day. The Texans had some bad luck with their first 2 games, were the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Yeah, it's rough.
Going
Man.
forward-
I think the Texans don't freak out. I think they're better
Yes.
than what they've shown. They literally just played the best 2 teams in the league.
Yes. Will Fuller had a hamstring issue, but he came back on the field and played the second half. If you have Will Fuller, you didn't draft him expecting him to stay healthy all season. So week 1 was a good play for you. Week 2 was not so good.
I will say monitor this because Will Fuller is known to sit out multiple weeks with hamstring issues.
Yes.
So just because they think that he might be okay at the last second, you better be prepared because he could be pulled.
Another thing I will say about him, if he does sit out and miss weeks, the next week that he is healthy, you play Will Fuller. Because
I
those
agree,
are the weeks
yeah.
he likes to go off and
I completely
score 50
agree.
points.
But if you own him in any leagues, you need to be sure that he's playing.
As a Will Fuller owner, I kind of hope that, hey, okay, he had a hamstring issue and had 0 targets.
Let him heal.
Let him
Yeah.
sit for a week or 2. That's fine. I have another wide receiver on my team that I can flex. And then let him come back. And that game, I'm starting him, and he's going to have 4
Yeah.
touchdowns. It's
Yeah.
fine. DJ Chark.
Chest injury.
This is Braden's other boy.
Hey, DJ Chark's good, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so it's a chest injury. Just monitor it. They haven't ruled him out.
But they play on Thursday.
They do play on Thursday, and so it is a little more concerning. This one of those things, like I said, you're just gonna have to monitor. And we're gonna go over I guess he should be a pickup either way, but I think he's a start in Keelan Cole if DJ Chark ends up and doesn't play, I think you start him.
I believe he's Jacksonville's leading receiver currently.
Yeah,
in Keelan Cole.
he is. Yeah, we'll go over it. He's one of my waivers. So
And I also like Laviska Shenault there, the rookie wide receiver coming in that they kind of use all over the place. Somebody to watch. Some good news.
yeah, we're done with the bad news.
So
I think we're done with the bad
there
news.
was multiple players with injuries. Those are the fantasy significant ones.
Other notables, Nick Bosa for the Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks, man.
Yeah, that's terrible. There's I think Bruce Irvin, Seahawks.
Yep.
That game last night was also great. If you didn't watch the Patriots Seahawks last night,
You missed another vintage Patriots
that was a
Seahawks
good game. That was a good game. Chris Godwin is out of concussion protocol and will play week 3.
Finally, some good news about a star wide receiver, man.
Yeah. That's about as good as it gets. That's about it.
Uh,
Michael Thomas has not been put on IR yet,
Why you gotta take me on a roller coaster ride like that?
but he's not playing tonight, and he may not play next week. They haven't put him on IR because I think he wants to come back as soon as possible. So as soon as he feels like he's good to go, I think he's back. So I think he sits out. He's sitting out today, and maybe he sits out next week, and then I think he tries to come back after that. Are you starting Michael Thomas right when he comes back? I mean, you have to.
Yeah. You're starting.
You have to.
As soon as he's back, you're starting Michael Thomas.
So with all that injury news, we kind of mentioned some of the guys here, but this is our waiver column. This is where you go pick up guys on the waiver wire to fill in these spots made by these injuries on your team. We've already mentioned him. I've already mentioned him. I actually had him mentioned last week as somebody to go pick up. If you didn't do it or if he's still there, Russell Gage, Atlanta's wide receiver, third wide receiver, is a must pick up.
Atlanta's third wide receiver is a must pick up.
This offense, it looks like one of the few offenses that can support 3 wide receivers. Granted, Julio didn't get supported yesterday, but week 1 they definitely did that. Atlanta's defense is not great.
And by the way, Julio, I'll let you continue with Russell Gage. Julio was not happy on the sidelines
No.
in the late game. I don't think he was very happy that he wasn't being involved a whole lot. And so that's, I mean, not that it's something to look out for Julio, but that's just, it's just a note.
Yeah. Well, Russell Gage, like I was saying, Atlanta's defense is not going to be great. They're going to be in shootouts all year. Their offense has already been a good offense week 1 and week 2, and they've involved multiple pass catchers. I think Hayden Hurst kind of took some of Julio's stuff yesterday, but Russell Gage ended up with 46 yards and a touchdown.
I think he had a touchdown the week before, right?
Yeah, he did. He definitely had a touchdown week 1 also, but he also almost threw a touchdown to Julio Jones. He had one pass, and it was almost a 50-yarder to Julio that I'm very upset that Julio decided to drop, and it was, very sad. Russell Gage, if you need wide receiver help, go pick him up, and you can start him next week.
I think so too, yeah.
Former Falcon,
Devontae Freeman.
We've already mentioned him. It's definitely something to watch if he signs with the Giants. He's a immediate pickup. He's one of the big pickups on the waivers this week.
The thing is, he's not on a team yet, and so it's hard to project it. I'm projecting it like he's going to get signed with the Giants, and that's kind of where my hope is, because he's going to be 100% the bell cow.
Yes,
he will go straight into a starting role with the majority of work.
Yes, he also went and visited the Eagles, where he will not be a bell cow because they have Miles Sanders and Boston Scott. They have some guys there that they like to use. Devonta Freeman, I'm a little concerned that he doesn't go to the Giants just because he's not just going to settle and sign with the team. He still wants a deal. He wants his money. So it's kind of up to a contract. You're taking
a risk there. So
it's somebody just. He's not my first waiver pickup, but it's somebody, if you don't, you put in a waiver for him, but you move it down the line a little bit and kind of have 3 guys that are on teams ahead of him. And if you don't get any of those, then you get Devonta Freeman, who will most likely sign with the team.
All right, my one of my pickups of the week last week, so you should have picked him up last week, was Myles Gaskin. He is definitely the lead back in Miami.
Yeah, somehow Myles Gaskin, they have Jordan Howard there, and they have Matt Breida, and somehow Myles Gaskin has turned into the lead back in Miami. It's very strange. Very strange to me. He had 7 carries and 6 catches yesterday, which it's not a whole lot of workload. I mean, it's not a huge workload, but he's splitting time there.
Yeah,
and he was obviously the lead back.
If he continues to show out and to actually look decent, I mean, he might be in line for more and more work. So
Jordan Howard is almost last in line for work, and I have dropped him in the leagues that I have him. I'm very disappointed because, I thought that was a good draft steal late in drafts, but apparently not. Jordan Howard to me is droppable. I'm dropping Jordan.
we
Howard.
all miss him, We all miss him.
Well, yeah, like Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, we all miss him.
I'm dropping Jordan Howard and trying to go get Myles Gaskin. I need running back help on most of my teams, and that's what I'm trying to do. Another Dolphin, Mike Gesicki, Sticky Gecko.
Sticky Gecko.
If you listen to our team previews early on in the season, Mike Sticky Gecko. This guy had a monster week, had 130 yards and a touchdown, led the team in targets and receptions.
I didn't even realize that he had 130 targets. Oh, that's a lot. 130 yards.
Mike Gesicki from here on out is a tight end. If you need a tight end, you can pick him up and start him every week. He's going to be a top 10 tight end. And if you have somebody like, what if you have Austin Hooper? You playing Mike Gesicki or Austin Hooper?
I'm playing Gesicki probably.
Okay.
Yeah, Hooper is not going to be consistent. I think Gesicki can be.
Yeah, Gesicki is one of the actual weapons on the team.
Especially if Devontae Parker doesn't play. I think he's probably the biggest boost.
For sure. We also mentioned him earlier, Jerick McKinnon, running back for San Francisco.
He's my second waiver.
I don't think he's on most teams, especially before this last week, because they had two other healthy running backs in front of him.
There will be some leagues,
yeah,
he'll be
some
gone.
leagues will have him. But yeah, if he's there, you need running back help. 100%, you can play Jerick McKinnon this next week because he's going to see plenty of volume there.
Yeah, he's my, like I said a second ago, he's my second pickup of the week. He's who I'm putting up there high.
And what's your other one?
Keelan Cole. Talked about him a minute ago with the Jaguars. So this guy sneakily leads the Jaguars in targets, receptions, and touchdowns.
Yes,
and he only has like 5 fewer yards than DJ Chark. So Minshew seems to like him.
And the Jaguars aren't complete hot garbage. I thought they would be.
I'm pretty sure Minshew's actually good. I don't know. Newsflash. Minshew's good.
Yeah. Newsflash.
He hasn't dropped off at all from his first year.
For sure. And quarterback waivers there's still guys out there like Ryan Tannehill, like Gardner Minshew. Ben Roethlisberger's probably not still out there because he has had 2 great weeks. But even Joe Burrow had a decent week this last week.
Yep.
When you throw the ball 65 times, you're bound to have production out of your quarterback.
For sure.
Granted,
so
they're not going to do that every week. But
Keelan Cole is most likely on your waivers, and you should go pick him up.
Some guys you should always – so in leagues, if you play on Yahoo, if you play on ESPN, not all leagues give you transaction notifications. It's always important to go check your league's transactions.
Yes.
After waivers run on Wednesday, you have to drop somebody to pick up somebody. So somebody in your league is going to pick up somebody that they value less than who they picked up, that you might value more.
Just for example, somebody last week in one of our shared leagues, we're not co-owners, but we are in this league together, dropped Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, for the Steelers.
Dirty Dan.
For the Steelers, yeah, Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan knows who he is.
And it's always, if you're not going to get all your waivers that you put in for, and in most cases, you might not get any waivers.
And Deontay Johnson proceeded to go off.
Yes, but it's always worth. I always go in on Wednesdays or after waivers run, and I go check and see who everybody picked up and who everybody dropped. Because sometimes they're going to drop somebody that I feel is a value to my team that I can go pick up and start on my team. It happens. I think
it happens.
Deontay Johnson got dropped, like he said, and I know me and him both put in waivers for it, and I think about half the league put in a waiver for Deontay Johnson.
And I mean, keep in mind for some of these guys too. Like it's not just some of the up and coming guys. There's some of these guys that like AJ Brown. Like he doesn't have a good week 1.
Yeah, some people
you never know.
Some people drop people like that.
You never know. They may be forced to drop somebody. Just check your post waiver transactions.
Yes, always check the trend. And sometimes you don't get notifications for them. You have to go in and kind of manually click transactions and see them all. But it's worth it, especially if you feel like you need to fill a spot on your team.
Yep.
and check. So here's a couple guys you need to go check your waivers for, check your transactions, see if they were dropped. Brayden put these here, and they both happen to be Titans.
Yeah, they do both happen to be Titans, but I mean, are they both? They're both viable.
Yeah, they're both viable options at this point.
So Corey Davis, he's being used in the offense. He's being targeted. And if AJ Brown's out, he's going to continue to be even more viable. But even with AJ Brown in week 1, he still saw a lot of targets. So he's somebody that I know there was a lot of injuries. So if you're missing somebody, you can go pick him up, and he can be a starter for you, and he won't lay you a goose egg. And
this is your boy. This is all you.
And then my boy, I appreciate you letting me have.
This is your boy, Jonas.
Appreciate
Smith.
you letting me have.
I
this.
was down on him all offseason. Brayden was hyping him up.
Let me have this, all right?
Brayden has been correct so far.
The steal of drafts.
Jonnu Smith.
Smith, tight end for the Tennessee Titans. All right, you need to check your waiver wire for him. He's probably not going to be there, but
well, let me say, out of all the guys that we mentioned on waiver wire pickups, if you need a tight end, he should be your number one waiver priority.
Out of all the running backs, everything. If you need a tight end, he is your number one priority if he's there. He is the top option in this Tennessee offense aside from Derrick Henry. He is the number one fantasy tight end. I repeat.
In standard, yeah.
I repeat this. He is the number one fantasy tight end in standard leagues and the number 2 in PPR leagues.
Yeah, he ended up, I believe he had 2 touchdowns yesterday.
This is not a drill.
Not a drill.
Not a drill.
Brayden's been hyping this guy, and he is producing. And get him while he's hot. Get him while he's hot.
Pop it like it's hot.
Get it like popcorn chicken. Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, there you go.
So Jonnu Smith, go check your waivers for him. Put in a waiver for him, please. We're gonna go ahead and kind of preview Thursday night football coming up. Oh, we got a monster game for you guys,
dude. It's the game of the week.
Game of the week here. I believe it's Brayden didn't write down where it was at, but I believe it's Dolphins at Jaguars.
I cannot confirm nor deny this statement.
Florida versus Florida.
Yeah, they're both in Florida. What does it matter?
Big Daddy Minshew, and
there's no fans also, so it really doesn't matter.
You got the beard versus the mullet right here.
Oh, dude, the mullet's got to prevail, right?
It's some Florida crap right there. Yeah. Devontae Parker, we've talked about him. You're starting a more healthy wide receiver over Devontae Parker, like Russell Gage.
Yeah, you're starting Russell Gage because of the opportunity.
I mean, I don't.
It's hard because the Jaguars' defense is not great. Like everybody that's played the Jaguars,
but the Dolphins' defense is
at least 30 points.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
There's going to be a lot of and I think people, just because he's had a rough first 2 weeks, I think people might start forgetting what Devontae Parker was last year. And if he's playing, if they say he's healthy, I'm probably forced into starting him with the injuries. But I mean, if you manage to get a good waiver pickup, you can choose to sit him. I don't have a problem with that.
Preston Williams is the other guy here. I just don't know. This Thursday night game, I don't think I'm too confident in starting many guys in this Thursday night game. It's just
somebody's going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, somebody will. Maybe this is the week Myles Gaskin just goes off, the running back here in Miami, the guy that we said is a good waiver pickup. Maybe it's the week he goes off and has his game.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know that I'm that confident in starting any of these guys over my other options that I probably have. Jaguars, Gardner Minshew is probably the most confident.
I mean, really, Sticky Gecko is your only 100%.
Yes.
100% start.
You're starting Mike Gesicki here.
Yeah.
100%. Myles Gaskin, maybe flex if you don't have anybody else. If you have 6 of those guys that tore their knees out this week, then you don't have any other options.
Yep.
Yeah, but Mike Gesicki, you're starting 100%. Gardner Minshew is probably the player I'm most confident in starting
in this matchup.
But this could also be Miami's defense isn't the worst.
I think
this could be his trap game.
So keep an eye out. But their starting Miami starting cornerback
Byron Jones
got hurt last week too. So I mean, if they sit him, then that's kind of good news for
Gardner.
I mean, Gardner and
The legend.
and it depends if DJ Chark plays or not.
Yes, that's also something to watch. Are you starting? I mean, I'm big on James Robinson this year. I don't have any shares of him, unfortunately, but James Robinson has become their workhorse back. You know, we thought it was going to be some Chris Thompson. We thought it was going to be some of the other guys, Devin DeZigbo and all those guys who haven't even touched the ball yet. But James Robinson has turned into the workhorse back here, and going forward, I think he's a solid, like a low RB2. Yeah,
I think you're playing him.
He's getting 90% of the carries there at the running back position.
For sure. And if somebody like that's on your bench, like if you just happen to pick him up and somebody like that's on your bench and you don't need him for whatever reason, you need to try to flip him. Like try to flip somebody like that right now because
sell high.
Because everybody's hyping him up. And it may be for good reason, but we don't know yet. We don't know what the verdict is.
We're 2 weeks into the season.
So I would flip him while he's, like Nolan said, flip him while he's hot. And try to get some other value.
Are you starting Keelan Cole or DJ Chark? What if you have one of them? If you're starting Keelan Cole or DJ Chark?
I might play both of them. I mean, obviously you shouldn't have both of them on the same team.
What if you have to pick one of those? Yeah, you have to pick one of those guys.
If DJ Chark plays, I'm picking DJ Chark.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
I just think
Keelan Cole's been productive so far, but
too great.
DJ Chark has more upside
for sure.
So you're hoping he's not hurt. Thursday night is always rough for guys that are injured.
But I think also if I have Keelan Cole and I need a flex, I'm confident starting him. I'm putting him in my flex and with confidence because Minshew will throw at least 2 touchdowns.
Minshew mania. Are you calling it right now? Jaguars win.
You know what? You know what? I'm 100% Minshew will throw for 3 touchdowns.
Wow. I think
at least 3 touchdowns.
I think the Dolphins win this game. I think they're not going to go 0-16.
It wouldn't surprise me. But the Jaguars, I don't know if you've noticed this. Who did they play week 1? They played Indianapolis, and then last week they played. Or who'd they play yesterday? It was
the Vikings. Nope. That was the Colts. I don't know.
Look it up.
Look it up.
All right. I'm gonna look it up. So anyway, the Jaguars have only lost by 3. They lost by 3 points both those games.
Yeah, I mean
they're better than people think
they're better than people think they are. I don't think they're garbage, but I think Miami squeaks out their first win here.
A little squeaker?
Yeah, I think they squeak it out. Ryan Fitzmagic's gonna.
I'm not gonna look it up.
He's gonna do his magic. Ryan Fitzmagic's gonna do his magic.
I was gonna look it up,
but show Minshew who the real Florida man is.
Who am I kidding?
So, yeah, that was been our Thursday night preview, our waiver wire pickups, guys, to go get injury updates. What else you got, Brayden? Got anything else?
Pray for all of the players.
Pray for all of them. The Cowboys' comeback was amazing.
They may or may not be on the verge of
tears.
Cowboys'
comeback was amazing. Patriots, Seattle came down to the last play 1 yard. Kyler Murray for MVP, looking like a boss. And, yeah, it's going to be good. This has been the Fantasy Football Bandwagon Podcast.
Yeah. You know what?
Week 2.
I'm happy about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't look enthused. I didn't look like I was.
It was hard. It was hard.
Enthusiastic it's hard just now. I was. Every time it's brought up, I'm happy and sad at the same time.
We've been Cowboys fans for forever, and it's just gotten to the point where it's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. It's like
Jason Garrett is our coach. They don't win that game.
100%. The thing that I said to Nolan is they're going to recover this onside kick. And then they're going to miss the field goal.
Let us down again.
Yeah. Then they're going to miss the field goal. They're going to do everything possible and then miss the field goal.
All right. This isn't a Cowboys podcast. Everybody knows how they are.
And then they made it.
And then they made it. Something new. So thanks for listening. Send us your lineup questions. Send us any kind of questions.
All right. Confirmed. We're coming here to the studio to watch the games this week.
The studio.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, confirmed. We are going live on Sunday.
Okay. We'll do it live.
We're doing it because we're here. All right.
Thanks, guys. Let us know if you won your fantasy games. I'm about to lose all of mine. It's great. All right. Peace.